The sun is glaring right into my face. I'm sorry if there is fluctuation in lighting. Let's get into the video. We know that the heating costs and grocery bills are on the rise. With the current recession, it is important to be mindful about our spending habits, especially when it comes to our hobbies, because we have other things to give priority to. But if gardening is something you enjoy and you want to start out a garden or maintain the existing garden, you can do it without breaking the bank. In this video, I'll share 10 ways to garden without spending much. So let's get into the details. Let's start with the first category, that is the seeds. If you're just starting out, you might not know where to source your plants from. As a beginner, I used to buy saplings of vegetable crops from the garden center, and later I realized this was an expensive option. Instead, I suggest starting from seeds. For the same price as one sapling, typically 2 to 3 euros, you get hundreds of seeds of the same crop which can be used for the following years of gardening as well. It might test our patience a little bit, but let me tell you, it's worth it. The downside of starting from seeds is that you might end up with a lot of spare seeds. What can we do with hundreds of seeds if we have small space to grow and cannot finish them even if we grow them for 2 to 3 years? That brings me to the next tip. Use the spare seeds to grow microgreens indoors before they go bad. You know, microgreens are full of nutrients, and this way we will have a steady supply of them. We can also share spare seeds with our friends. Just pool with some of your friends and buy seeds together. Another tip that comes under seed category is to save seeds from your own garden. Once you're done with the harvest, let the plants go to seed. This way we can collect seeds of the plants that is accustomed to the microclimate in your garden. That means they'll be strong according to the principles of evolution, right? And most importantly, we do not have to buy new seeds the next year. This is a small step that can bring big returns in the future. Next, let us talk about buying saplings from the garden center. If you don't want to start out from seeds because you think the process is overwhelming and there is a lot of things to learn before you start from seeds, then that is okay. But look out for saplings that are small in size, because smaller saplings are priced lesser than bigger saplings. And with a little bit of care, they'll grow very well in your garden. You just need to be patient and watch them grow. Now let's discuss soil. The quality of the soil directly affects the health of the plant, but a good quality soil can be expensive. One way to save on this is to source the compost from composting or waste management unit, which are way cheaper than garden centers. You can get hundreds of liters of compost for a couple of euros. I've talked about this in length in another video. I'll link it here in case if you're interested. Alternatively, start your own composting journey. If you are limited by space, start in a bucket or try other methods like bokashi composting. By having your own compost, you'll save money on the soil you need to buy every year in order to replenish or supplement the old soil. Another tip that is inspired by Hugel-Kultur method, I've made a video explicitly on that, on how to fill my raised bed with this method, is to layer organic matter like cardboard, dried leaves, half-ton compost in deep containers or raised bed and layer with soil on top. This way, we don't have to fill the entire pot with soil. The organic matter will break down eventually over the summer, saving you a lot on soil. The next category are the fertilizers. If you need to buy fertilizers or amendments, try buying them in bulk. Also try making different homemade fertilizers like bioenzyme, leftover rice water, or compost itself. Compost is rich in nutrients from the decomposed organic matter and will feed your plants. The next tip is to be creative and try DIY garden accessories. For trellising or staking plants, repurpose whatever you have on hand. Here I have used unused wooden pallets as trellis. This was a frame for the sofa in my old balcony garden. Also, instead of buying pots or new containers, try if you can use whatever you have or repurpose other items like large buckets, which can also be used for growing vegetables. Next, look for alternatives. For example, for mulching, we usually use wood chips or straw on top of the soil, but instead we can use dried leaves or grass clippings that is available for free. Mulching is highly recommended as it reduces the rate of evaporation from the soil during the summer, and it helps us save water. Instead of using expensive wood for raised bed frames, you can use bricks. You can also save money by looking for end-of-season sale in the local garden centers for bulbs and perennials. For example, we could buy tulip bulbs or any other flower bulbs late in December when they are in sale rather than in October when it is priced high. If you need to purchase garden supplies, then look out for places where they sell second-hand items. Like in Germany, we have eBay Kleinanzeigen or Facebook Marketplace where people sell items that they use but no longer need. Another great way to get garden supplies is to make friends with other gardeners and swap seeds and saplings. Gardeners usually love sharing seeds and saplings or even tools that they don't use. They're usually extra seeds or saplings that they don't have space for but would love to see them grow in other spaces. Preserving the vegetables that we harvest from our own garden is another way to cut down on grocery bills. Harvest the vegetables at the right time and preserve or can them so that you can use them throughout the year. I harvested these tomatoes last year in August and I could use them until January this year because I had freezed them. I still have some green chilies in my freezer from last year's garden. That is 1 or 2 items less for me to buy. Next tip would be to choose wisely what you grow in your limited space. Focus on growing vegetables that you enjoy eating and are expensive to buy from the supermarket. Joy of growing things is whole another topic, but in this video we cover the economic aspect of it. For example, I wouldn't grow potatoes because one thing, I'm not a big fan of it, and even if I want to buy them, I can get it locally for cheap. Whereas coriander leaves or green chilies or any other Indian exotic vegetables would cost me a lot if I go to the local supermarket or Indian grocery store. Final tip would be to plan your garden carefully. I'm a big advocate of planning garden every year and it is a process that I enjoy doing a lot. This will help you avoid overbuying plants that you don't have space for. I used to do this in my balcony garden where there was limited sunlight. Yet I wanted to grow everything. But it was simply not possible. By understanding your limitations and choosing your crops wisely, you can save money and still have a thriving garden. There is a video on how to plan small space balcony garden. I'll link it here. If you're still with me, please do the following. Make a budget for your garden, plan out your garden very carefully, and remember that you always spend way below your means. I hope we get through this recession as fast and strong as we can. Share in the comments down below if you have any other tips to garden on a budget that we as a community can benefit from. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next. Bye and take care.